Hello and welcome back to the History Channel. My name is Idan and I will be your digital history teacher. I will teach you about international history from the late 1800s to the mid 1900s in a 16-part series. This is part 2. This video will be about 1.2, what was the impact of imperial expansion on international relations. Now we will begin with the first section. Section A, the impact of growth of overseas empires on relations between European nations. European nations were rivals for materials, land, and trade. Due to this, nationalism grew and the public wanted to defend their countries, so conflict and new overseas policies occurred. In 1898, Britain and France almost got to a war when they both claimed the same country. However, a compromise was created and this event was later named the Fashoda Incident. In 1888, Wilhelm led Germany to gain overseas possessions, causing rivals like Britain. And Germany justified this by saying that they needed power and protection in the fast-growing world. Britain and France agreed on the Entente Cordiale to end their rivalry, while Wilhelm saw this as a way to weaken their friendship. Wilhelm made a speech in Tangiers wanting an independent Morocco, while pushing away the idea of making Britain and France rivals, but this actually made the relationship stronger. Wilhelm noticed this and sent a gunship to France to undermine their power. Well, that's the end of this section. Now we will move on to section B. Disputes with China over imperial expansion, Boxer Rebellion. China didn't think they needed to imperialize, and their reluctance to engage with foreigners revealed that they can't adapt to global issues, making them weaker. European nations were mad that China wouldn't trade, so they used influence and force to expand and access resources in China. Britain was China's largest trading partner, but Britain began importing opium to China. China knew there would be bad economic and social effects of these drugs, so they tried to ban it. However, Britain couldn't listen because China was weak and couldn't do anything about it. This led to the First and Second Opium War between them, in which China lost both and was forced to give Hong Kong to Britain and legalize opium. Due to China becoming weak, foreign powers took over to establish influence, and they ignored laws. This caused a Taiping rebellion that resulted in around 20 million deaths. China lost the first Sino-Japanese War, leading to territorial losses to Japan. And USA introduced the open door policy, which was to ensure equal trade access in China. China also created the Boxer Rebellion against 8 countries, and they lost and were forced to pay $67 million. By the 20th century, China was controlled by these foreign powers, creating new rivalries over interest. Now we will move on to the last section. Section C. Tension between Britain and Germany over South Africa. Britain's control over South Africa led to many conflicts. Britain's policies introduced a new tax system, abolishing slavery, which angered Boers, who depended on farming. Many Boers moved away from Britain to the east. This was called the Great Trek. Britain was in Boer Wars with tribes in Cape Colony, including a conflict named the Anglo-Zulu War, in which Britain won. Gold was also discovered, which created tensions between Britain and the Boers. and Britain took control, and the Boers began to rebel, which started the First Boer War, in which they defeated Britain. Britain and Germany gained tension because of Kaiser's telegram to Kruger, which congratulated him on defeating British raiders. The Second Boer War began when Kruger wanted independence, where Britain won against the Boers and kept control. The war exposed weaknesses in Britain's military and brought criticism for Britain's tactics. Now this is the last section, Section D, attempts to resolve tension between imperial nations. The first attempt was called the Berlin Conference, which was an attempt to peacefully resolve tensions during the scramble for Africa. It gave access to African interior on boats, slavery was abolished, and however, this ended war and kept everything civilized. In the second attempt, the Treaty of Shimonoseki gave Japan control over Port Arthur, Taiwan, and Korean Peninsula. The Triple Intervention was also created to stop Japan from having land after the First Sino-Japanese War. And that's the end of this section and the video. So thank you for watching. This is Idan from the History Channel, and I'll see you in the next video for part 3 of chapter 1.